The bank statement in my trembling hands showed 47 cents. Not $85,340. Not even $85. Just 47 cents. 17 years of savings. 17 years of sacrifice.
Gone.
And so was my husband. I'm Maya Johnson, and I'm about to tell you how the man I loved, trusted, and built a life with destroyed. Everything in one night, and how I rose from those ashes to become something he could never imagine. Let me take you back to where it all started to crumble. It was a Tuesday morning in October 2019. I remember because Isaiah, my 17-year-old son, had his college interview that afternoon. He was so excited, talking about engineering programs and his future. I was excited too. We'd been saving every single dollar for his education since the day he was born. I worked as a dental hygienist at a clinic in downtown Atlanta. The pay wasn't amazing, but it was steady. Marcus, my husband of 18 years, worked in sales, or at least that's what he told me. Looking back now, I realize I was blind to so many red flags. Love makes you stupid sometimes. Or maybe I was just too tired to see the truth. That morning started like any other. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., made breakfast, got Isaiah ready for school. Marcus was still in bed. He'd been sleeping in a lot lately, saying his work schedule had changed. I kissed him goodbye before leaving, like I always did. I had no idea it would be the last time I'd see him as my husband. Around 10 a.m., my phone rang. It was First National Bank. Mrs. Johnson? This is Sarah from the fraud department. We detected unusual activity on your college savings account. My heart skipped. What kind of activity? Someone initiated a wire transfer yesterday evening. The entire balance of $85,340 was moved to an offshore account. The room started spinning. I grabbed the edge of the dental chair I was cleaning. That's impossible.
That
account requires both signatures. Ma'am, according to our records, both signatures were provided. The transfer was authorized by you and Marcus Johnson at 7:47 p.m. last night. But I was at my sister's house last night. I came home at 9 p.m. and Marcus was already in bed. Or so I thought. I need to call you back, I whispered, my voice barely working. I called Marcus immediately. Straight to voicemail. I called again, and again, and again. Each time, that same robotic voice. The number you have dialed is not available. I told my supervisor I had a family emergency and drove home like a maniac, running 2 red lights. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. Please God, let this be a mistake. Please let Marcus be home with an explanation. The house was empty. Not just empty, stripped. His clothes were gone. His shoes. His laptop. The TV from our bedroom. His PlayStation. Even the picture of us from our wedding day was missing from the mantel, leaving a clean square. On the dusty shelf, on the kitchen counter, I found a note. Just one sentence in his messy handwriting. I can't do this anymore. Don't try to find me. I collapsed right there on the kitchen floor, the note crumpling in my fist. 17 years. 17 years of marriage. 17 years of saving every penny for our son's future.
gone. Just like that.
What would you do if you were in my place? Write in the comments. The next few hours were a blur of phone calls. The bank said they couldn't reverse the transfer. Both signatures were authenticated, and the money was already moved to the Cayman Islands. The police said technically it wasn't theft since Marcus was a joint account holder. A missing persons report? He wasn't missing. He left a
note.
He left intentionally. I was trapped in a nightmare with no escape. When Isaiah came home from his interview, so proud and hopeful, I had to break his heart. I still remember the look on his face when I told him. The confusion. Then the understanding. Then the devastation. Mom, what about college? His voice cracked. I hugged him tight, fighting back my own tears. We'll figure it out, baby. I promise. But I had no idea how. Within 2 weeks, everything fell apart. The $85,000 wasn't just college savings, it was our safety net. Without it, I couldn't make the mortgage payment. I'd been stretching our budget so thin, putting everything into that account, believing we were building a future. The bank sent foreclosure notices. I picked up extra shifts at the clinic, working 12-hour days, but it wasn't enough. I sold my car to buy us 2 more months. Then I sold my jewelry, my laptop, anything of value. Isaiah got a part-time job at a grocery store, trying to help my 17-year-old son, who should have been focused on his future, was stocking shelves at night to help pay rent. It broke something inside me. By December, we were evicted. I'll never forget that day. The sheriff's deputy knocked on the door at 8 a.m. He was polite but firm. We had 4 hours to get our belongings out. I called my sister Tasha, sobbing, and she came with her husband in their pickup truck. We moved our entire life into a storage unit and into Tasha's 2-bedroom apartment in College Park. She and her husband took the bedroom, gave us the living room. Isaiah slept on the couch, and I slept on an air mattress on the floor. If you've enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Your support means everything. Those months at Tasha's were the darkest of my life. I felt like I'd failed as a mother, as a woman, as a human
being.
I trusted a man who destroyed us without a second thought. Every morning I woke up on that air mattress. I felt the weight of my mistakes crushing my chest. Isaiah stopped smiling. He withdrew, became quiet. College acceptance letters started arriving in February. Georgia Tech, Emory, even MIT reached out, but he'd throw them in the trash without opening them. "What's the point, Mom?" he'd say. That's when I hit rock bottom. Seeing my brilliant, talented son give up on his dreams because of Marcus's betrayal, because of my blindness, it shattered me. I started having panic attacks.
Couldn't sleep.
Lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Tasha begged me to see a therapist, but I couldn't afford it. Everything I earned went to the storage unit and helping with groceries. One night in March, I was scrolling through Facebook on Tasha's laptop, torturing myself by looking at happy families when I saw it. A post from Marcus. He was in Las Vegas. Champagne bottle in hand, arm around a blonde woman in a tight red dress, both of them laughing at some casino table. The caption: "Living my best life. No regrets." No regrets. He stole our entire future, left his son homeless, destroyed our family, and he had no regrets. Something in me snapped, but not in a breaking way, in an awakening way. I wasn't going to let him win. I wasn't going to let him destroy Isaiah's future. And I sure as hell wasn't going to spend the rest of my life on an air mattress, broken and defeated. That night, I made a list. Not a revenge list or resurrection list. First priority: get Isaiah to college no matter what. Second, get back on my feet financially. Third, build a life Marcus could never touch, never ruin, never steal. I started researching scholarships, grants, everything. I reached out to Isaiah's school counselor. I applied for every hardship fund I could find. I wrote letters to colleges explaining our situation. Meanwhile, I started looking for better work. The clinic paid $22 an hour, and I'd been there for 12 years. With barely any raises. I updated my resume for the first time in over a decade. I started applying to dental offices in wealthier neighborhoods, places that might pay better. Then something unexpected happened. A friend from church, Sister Patricia, mentioned that a new luxury dental practice was opening in Buckhead, the richest part of Atlanta. They were looking for experienced hygienists, and the pay was $38 an hour plus benefits. I applied that same day. 2 weeks later, I had an interview. The practice was called Sterling Smiles. Everything was white marble and gold fixtures, like walking into a 5-star hotel. The head dentist, Dr. Chun, was professional but warm. She asked about my experience, my technique, my goals. "Mrs. Johnson," she said at the end of the interview, "I can tell you're going through something difficult."
But I
Can also tell your fighter. You're hired. I cried right there in her office. Literally sobbed. She handed me tissues and smiled. Start Monday. And Maya? It gets better. I promise. That job was my first stepping stone. What do you think about my ex-husband Marcus? Write your thoughts in the comments. By April, things started shifting. The new job paid almost double what I made before. I was working with wealthier clients, learning how they talked, how they thought, how they invested. One client, a financial advisor named Mrs. Patterson, noticed my interest. You ask smart questions, she told me one day during a cleaning. Do you invest? I almost laughed. Ma'am, I'm just trying to survive. She looked at me seriously. That's exactly when you need to start thinking about investing. Even small amounts. Let me teach you. For the next 3 months, during her appointments, Mrs. Patterson gave me free financial education. She taught me about index funds, compound interest, emergency funds. She taught me that wealth isn't just about earning money, it's about making money work for you. I started putting away $50 a week into a Roth IRA. It wasn't much, but it was something. It was mine.
And no one could steal it.
Isaiah, seeing me fight, started fighting too. He opened the college acceptance letters. He applied for every scholarship, worked extra hours, wrote essays about overcoming adversity. And in May 2020, he got a full ride to Georgia Tech. Full
ride.
When that letter came, we both cried. Tasha cried. Even her husband cried. It felt like the universe was finally giving us a break. But I wasn't satisfied yet. I wanted more. Not for revenge, for redemption. For proof that Marcus didn't break
me.
For proof that I was worth more than he ever believed. In June, Dr. Chin pulled me aside. Maya, you've been exceptional these past few months. I want to offer you the office manager position. $65,000 salary, full benefits, and you'd oversee all the hygienists. I couldn't believe it. From $22 an hour to a $65,000 salaried position in less than 6 months. I accepted. Immediately. With that salary, I could finally afford my own place. In August 2020, Isaiah and I moved into a small but beautiful 2-bedroom apartment in Midtown. It wasn't much, but it was ours. No more air mattress. No more living room floor. The first night in our new apartment, Isaiah and I sat on the floor eating pizza. We didn't have furniture yet. And he said, Mom, I'm proud of you. Those 4 words meant more than anything Marcus ever said to me in 18 years. What should I do next in my situation? Let me know in the comments below. By September, Isaiah started at Georgia Tech. I helped him move into his dorm, set up his room, met his roommate. Watching him walk into that building, backpack on, ready to start his future, the future we almost lost, I felt invincible. I wasn't the broken woman on the air mattress anymore. I was Maya Johnson, survivor, fighter, mother, and office manager at one of Atlanta's premier dental practices.
But I still wasn't done rising.
Sterling Smiles attracted wealthy clients, and one of them would change my entire life. His name was Alexander Sterling. Yes, the same Sterling as Sterling Smiles. Turns out, he owned the building where the practice operated.
He
owned 27 buildings in Atlanta, actually. Real estate mogul, tech investor, self-made billionaire.
And
he came in one October afternoon with a chipped-crowned doctor. Chin was booked, so I took him back for an emergency cleaning before his crown replacement.
He was
42, tall, with kind brown eyes and this calm, confident energy. Not arrogant, just sure of himself. You're new, he said, settling into the chair. I've been here 6 months. You're just not here very often, Mr. Sterling. He smiled. Call me Alex. And you're right. I hate dentists. No offense. None taken. I'm technically not a dentist. We talked during the cleaning, really talked. He asked about my background, my story. I don't know why, but I told him. Maybe because he seemed genuinely interested, or maybe because I was tired of hiding my truth. I told him about Marcus, the stolen money, being homeless, fighting my way back. He listened without interrupting, without judging, without that pitying look people usually gave me. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "That's incredible." "What is?" "Your strength. Most people would have stayed down. You got back up and built something better." Something in his voice made me look at him differently. This wasn't just polite conversation. He meant it. After that first appointment, I didn't think much about Alexander Sterling. He was a client, a wealthy man way out of my league. I had my own life to focus on, Isaiah's college expenses, building my savings, proving I could stand on my own. But 2 weeks later, he came back. Not for a dental appointment. He walked into the office at closing time, right as I was locking up, holding 2 cups of coffee. "I hope this isn't weird," he said, looking almost nervous. "But I couldn't stop thinking about your story."
About you.
"Would you like to grab coffee?" I mean, I already grabbed coffee, but he laughed at himself. I'm not usually this awkward. I should have said no. I should have kept my distance. But something about him felt safe.
Genuine.
"1 coffee," I said. "That's it." We sat in the parking lot for 3 hours. He told me about his life, how he grew up in foster care, bounced between 12 different homes, dropped out of high school at 16. He taught himself coding, built his first app at 19, sold it for $2 million at
22.
Then he invested everything into real estate during the 2008 crash. "People thought I was crazy," he said. But I knew something they didn't. Rock bottom is the best time to build. When you've got nothing to lose, you've got everything to gain. I understood that completely. "Why are you telling me all this?"
I asked.
He looked at me with those steady brown eyes. "Because you get it. Most people I meet, they only see the money, the success. They don't understand what it took to get here. But you're fighting the same fight I fought. And I see something in you, Maya. Something rare." "What's that?" "Fire. The kind that doesn't burn out. If you were in my shoes, would you give him a chance? Let me know in the comments." That coffee led to dinner the next week. Then lunch. Then weekend walks in Piedmont Park. Alex, was different from any man I'd ever known. He didn't try to impress me with his wealth. He didn't show off. He asked about Isaiah, about my dreams, about what I wanted from life. "I want security," I told him one evening in November. "I never want to feel helpless again. I never want my son to see me broken like that." "Then let me help you," he said. I pulled back. "I don't need charity, Alex." "That's not what I meant." He leaned forward. "You're smart, Maya. You're observant. I've watched how you run that office. You see inefficiencies, you solve problems, you manage people naturally. Have you ever thought about entrepreneurship?" I almost laughed. "I'm a dental hygienist. I don't know anything about business." Neither did I when I started. But you know what you do know?
People.
Healthcare. Systems. There's opportunity everywhere in medical office management. Most practices are run terribly. You could consult, help them optimize, take a percentage of the increased revenue. The idea planted itself in my mind like a seed. Over the next month, Alex mentored me. Not in a patronizing way, he treated me like an equal. He taught me about business structures, contracts, client acquisition. He introduced me to his accountant, his lawyer. He showed me his world, but he never made me feel small in it. By December 2020, I launched Johnson Healthcare Consulting. It was just me, a laptop, and a dream. My first client? A struggling dental practice in Marietta that was losing money. I analyzed their operations, restructured their scheduling, trained their staff, and within 3 months, their revenue increased by 34%. Word spread. By March 2021, I had 4 clients. By June, I had 10. I was making more in consulting, working part-time, than I ever made at my full-time jobs. Alex was proud, but he kept his distance professionally. "This is your success," he'd say. "I just opened a door. You walked through it." But privately, we grew closer. Much closer. Isaiah noticed. When I came home one night in April 2021, glowing from a date with Alex, my son was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. So, when do I meet him? Isaiah asked, not looking up from his textbook. Meet who?
Mom. Come on.
You're humming. You're wearing perfume. You smile at your phone. It's been 18 months since Dad left. You deserve to be happy. My eyes watered. You really think so? He looked up, and I saw Marcus in his face. The same jawline, the same eyes, but none of Marcus's weakness. Mom, you saved us. You're my hero. If this guy makes you happy, I want to meet him. I introduced them the next weekend. Alex took us to a Braves game. I was nervous watching them interact, but within 2 innings, they were laughing together, arguing about plays, eating hot dogs like they'd known each other for years. In the 7th inning, Isaiah leaned over and whispered, "He's good people, Mom. Keep him." That night, after Alex dropped us home, he kissed me for the first time. Really kissed me. Not a polite goodnight peck, but a kiss that made me forget Marcus ever existed. "I'm falling for you, Maya," he whispered against my lips. Hard. "I'm scared," I admitted. Of what? Of this being too good. Of waking up and it's gone. Of trusting someone and… He cupped my face. "I'm not Marcus. I will never be Marcus. And I will spend every day proving that to you." What do you think? Is it too soon for her to move on? Share your thoughts in the comments. By summer 2021, my consulting business was thriving. I hired 2 employees, other dental hygienists who wanted flexible work. We were bringing in $25,000 a month. I moved into a better apartment, bought a car. Used but mine, started rebuilding my savings. Isaiah was thriving at Georgia Tech, talking about internships at Google and Microsoft. He'd transformed from that broken kid who threw away acceptance letters into a confident young man with dreams again. And Alex? Alex was patient, supportive, present. He never pushed, never rushed me. We spent holidays
Together.
He flew Isaiah and me to his beach house in Miami for Thanksgiving. He showed up at Isaiah's engineering showcase at Tech. On New Year's Eve 2021, standing on his penthouse balcony watching fireworks over Atlanta, Alex held my hand and said, "This is going to be our year, Maya. I feel it." I kissed him. Our year. I had no idea how right and how wrong he was. January 2022 started perfectly. My business landed a huge contract with a hospital network, 6 figures for a full operational restructuring. I hired 4 more consultants. We moved into a small office space in Buckhead. Alex and I were talking about the future. Not just dating, the future. He wanted me to meet his business partners, his friends. He talked about when we're married casually like it was a given. And honestly, it felt
Right.
Then February hit. I was in my office on a Thursday afternoon, reviewing proposals, when my assistant buzzed. "Maya, there's someone here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment, but he says it's urgent. Says he's your husband." My blood went cold. "Send him in." The door opened, and there he was. Marcus. But not the Marcus who left me. This Marcus was thin, hollow, cheeked, with dark circles under his eyes. His clothes were wrinkled, his shoes scuffed. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in the 2 years he'd been gone. "Maya," he said, his voice rough.
Please.
"Just hear me out." Every muscle in my body tensed. "You have 5 minutes. Then I'm calling security." He sat down, hands shaking. "I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. I was selfish, I was weak, You're a thief." I cut him off. "You stole from your own son. You left us homeless. You destroyed our family." "I know." He put his face in his hands. "God, I know. The woman I left you for, Brittany, she took everything. The money, my dignity, everything. She kicked me out after 6 months, when the cash ran out.
I've
been living in my car, Maya. I lost my job. I lost everything. Part of me, a tiny, stupid part, felt a flicker of pity. But then I remembered Isaiah sleeping on Tasha's couch.
I
Remembered selling my wedding ring for grocery money. I remembered that note. I can't do this anymore. Good, I said coldly. You deserve it. He looked up, eyes red. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I want to make it right.
I want to come home. I want to be a father to Isaiah again. I want us. There is no us, I said, standing up. There never will be again. You made your choice. Maya, please. You know what's funny? I leaned on my desk. You leaving me was the best thing you ever did for me, because it forced me to become someone I never would have been with you. You held me down for 18 years, and I didn't even realize it. So, thank you, Marcus. Thank you for leaving. His face crumpled. You don't mean that. I do. Now get out of my office. I saw you, he said, voice breaking. With him. That rich guy. You replaced me like I was nothing. I laughed, actually laughed. Replaced you? Marcus. Alex is everything you never were. He's kind, he's supportive, he's trustworthy. He built me up instead of tearing me down.
You didn't get replaced. You got
upgraded.
What would you have said to him?
I need your opinions in the comments. Marcus stood, anger flashing in his eyes. You think you're better than me now? Because you got some fancy office and a rich boyfriend. No, I said calmly. I think I'm better than who I was when I was with you. I'm stronger, smarter,
free, and
that terrifies you, doesn't it? That I don't need you. That I never needed you. He stared at me for a long moment, and I saw it the moment he realized he'd lost me forever. Not to another
man.
To myself. You'll regret this, he muttered, heading for the door. The only thing I regret, I called after him, is not leaving you first. The door slammed. I sat down, hands shaking, adrenaline pumping. I'd stood up to him. I'd looked my abuser in the eye and didn't flinch. I called Alex immediately. He came back. Marcus. His voice went hard. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm fine. I handled it. But Alex, my voice cracked. I need to see you. I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, Alex burst into my office. He pulled me into his arms, and I finally let myself break.
All
the strength I'd shown Marcus crumbled, and I sobbed into Alex's chest. You're safe, he murmured into my hair. I've got you. He'll never hurt you again. He looked so broken, I whispered. Part of me almost felt sorry for him. Alex pulled back, tilting my chin up. That's because you're a good person, Maya. You have empathy. But don't confuse empathy with obligation. You don't owe him anything. Not forgiveness, not pity, nothing. I know. What if he tries to contact Isaiah? Alex's jaw tightened. Has he tried? Not yet. Isaiah blocked his number years ago. But what if he shows up at tech? Then we get a restraining order. I have lawyers, Maya. Good ones. If Marcus becomes a problem, we'll handle it legally. The we in that sentence made me feel safer than I'd felt in years. That night, I told Isaiah about Marcus's visit. My son's face went through several emotions: shock, anger, hurt, and finally resolution. I don't want to see him, Isaiah said firmly. He's not my father anymore. A father doesn't abandon his kid.
A
father doesn't steal his son's future. You're all the parent I need, Mom. I hugged him tight, crying. I'm so proud of you, baby. I'm proud of you too. You could have taken him back. Some people would have. But you knew your worth. You taught me that strength. If you've been enjoying this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support helps me keep creating content like this. Over the next few weeks, Marcus tried calling. I blocked him. He sent emails. I filtered them to spam. He showed up at the office once more. I had security escort him out and filed for a formal divorce with a restraining order attached. Alex's lawyers made sure Marcus couldn't come within 500 feet of me, Isaiah, or my business. The divorce was finalized in April 2022. I didn't ask for anything from Marcus. He had nothing to give anyway. I just wanted him legally erased from my life. With Marcus officially gone, something shifted in me. I felt lighter.
Free.
Ready for the next chapter. In May 2022, Alex took me to Miami for a weekend getaway. We stayed at his beach house, walked on the sand, watched sunsets. On our last night, he made dinner, pasta from scratch, my favorite wine, candles on the
Terrace.
I have something to ask you, he said after dinner, taking my hand. My heart started racing. He got down on one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. Maya Johnson, you are the strongest, most incredible woman I've ever met. You took the worst situation and turned it into triumph. You inspire me every single day.
I
Don't want to spend another day without you as my partner. Will you marry me? The ring was perfect, a simple platinum band with a single diamond. Elegant, not flashy. So perfectly yes. I was crying before I could answer.
Yes.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, stood, and kissed me like we were the only two people in the world.
And in
That moment, on that terrace in Miami, I realized something powerful. Marcus didn't break me. He freed me. He freed me to become who I was always meant to be. And that woman was worthy of a man like Alexander Sterling. What about you? Have you had moments like these or men like these in your life? If so, be sure to let us know in the comments. And if you love stories, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are stronger together. The engagement ring on my finger felt surreal for weeks. Every time I looked at it, I had to remind myself this was real. This was my life now. Not the life on the air mattress at my sister's apartment. Not the life where I counted pennies for groceries. This new life, where I was loved, respected, and valued. We told Isaiah first, obviously. He was home from Georgia Tech for summer break, and we took him to dinner at the restaurant where Alex and I had our first real date. So, Alex said, glancing at me nervously, we have some news. Isaiah looked between us, and then his eyes dropped to my left hand. A huge grin spread across his face. Finally, I was wondering when you'd ask her, man. Alex laughed, relieved. You approve? Approve? Alex, you've been more of a father to me in 2 years than my biological dad was in 17. You show up. You care. You treat my mom like a queen. Isaiah's voice got thick with emotion. I couldn't ask for a better stepdad. Alex's eyes watered. This strong, successful billionaire got teary-eyed at my son's words. That means everything to me, Isaiah. Everything. We spent the rest of dinner planning. Not just the wedding, our future. Alex wanted to adopt Isaiah legally if he was comfortable with it. Isaiah said yes, without hesitation. We talked about me potentially selling my consulting business or expanding it. We talked about moving to Alex's penthouse or finding a house together. For the first time in years, I wasn't just surviving. I was dreaming, planning, building. Would you sell your business or expand it? What would you do? Let me know in the comments. We set the wedding date for October 2022, exactly 3 years after Marcus destroyed my life. The symbolism wasn't lost on me. 3 years from rock bottom to the top of the mountain. Alex wanted to fly us to Italy for the wedding, but I wanted something more meaningful. We decided on Miami, at his beach house where he proposed. Intimate, elegant, just close family and friends. Isaiah would walk me down the aisle. The months leading up to the wedding were a whirlwind. My consulting business expanded to 15 employees and brought in $80,000 a month. Alex helped me invest the profits wisely, real estate, index funds, building actual wealth. I was becoming the kind of woman who understood money, who made money work for her. In August, I did something I'd been putting off. I visited my old neighborhood, where Marcus and I lived. The house had been sold to a young family. There were toys in the yard, a garden growing, life happening.
I sat in
my car across the street, staring at it. That house held 18 years of my life. Memories of bringing Isaiah home as a baby, birthday parties, Christmas mornings, but also memories of feeling small, ignored, taken for granted. Marcus sleeping in while I
Worked.
Marcus playing video games while I handled everything. Marcus making me feel like I was lucky he
Stayed.
I realized something profound. I didn't miss the house. I didn't miss the life. I'd romanticized the past because it was familiar, but familiar doesn't mean good. That house was a prison I didn't know I was in until Marcus blew open the walls. I drove away without looking back. In September, exactly 1 month before the wedding, something happened that brought everything full circle. I was at my office when my assistant buzzed again. Maya, there's a woman here to see you.
Says her name is
Brittany. My stomach dropped. Brittany, Marcus's mistress. The woman he left me for. Send her in. Brittany walked in looking nothing like the confident blonde from Marcus's Facebook photos. She was thin, tired, with roots showing in her badly dyed hair. Designer purse, probably fake. Cheap shoes trying to look expensive. I know you probably hate me, she started, standing awkwardly by the door. I don't hate you, I said honestly. I don't think about you at all. She flinched. I deserve that. Look, I came to apologize. And to warn you. Warn me. She sat down without being invited. Marcus is obsessed with you. He stalks your social media, talks about you.
Constantly.
He blames you for his life falling apart. Says you ruined him. I almost laughed. I ruined him? He stole from his own son.
I know.
Trust me, I know what kind of man he is now. He lied to me about everything, said you were abusive, said the money was his inheritance, said you were keeping his son from him. I believed it all. She looked down at her hands. By the time I realized the truth, I'd helped him spend most of the money. Vacations, cars, gambling. It was gone in 6 months. Why are you telling me this? Because he's planning something. I don't know what, but he's been asking questions about your business, your fiancé, your routine. He's got this look in his eyes, dangerous, desperate. She met my gaze. I came because, despite everything, you don't deserve whatever he's planning. No woman deserves what he does to women. A chill ran down my spine. Has he threatened me directly? Not in words. But Maya, I lived with him. I know when he's about to do something stupid. And he's at that
point.
He's lost everything, his family, his money, his dignity. Men like Marcus? When they've got nothing left to lose, they become dangerous. I thanked her for the warning and immediately called Alex. Then I called my lawyer. We increased security at my office, at Isaiah's dorm, and at Alex's penthouse where I'd been staying. We also alerted the police about potential harassment. Part of me wanted to cancel the wedding, go into hiding, let fear win. But Alex said something that changed my perspective. Maya, if we let him control our happiness, he wins. He's already taken years from you. Don't let him take one more day. We're getting married. We're living our life. And if Marcus tries anything, he'll face the full force of the law and my entire legal team. He was right. I'd spent too long being afraid, being small, being the victim. Not anymore. What would you do if your ex started stalking you? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. The week before the wedding, Marcus made his move. He showed up at Isaiah's dorm at Georgia Tech, drunk, demanding to see his son. Campus security called Isaiah, who called me, who called the police. By the time I got there with Alex, Marcus was in handcuffs screaming at Isaiah, I'm your father. You can't just replace me with him. He pointed at Alex. That's not your dad. I am. Isaiah, calm and cold, looked at Marcus with pure contempt. You were a sperm donor. That's it. This man, he gestured to Alex. This man shows up.
He cares.
He's going to adopt me, and I'm taking his last name. You're nothing to me. Marcus lunged forward, but the officers held him back. You'll regret this. All of you. You think you've won. Maya? You haven't won anything. You're still just a... Marcus. I interrupted, my voice steady and strong. Look at me. He did, breathing hard, eyes wild. I have a six-figure business. I'm marrying a man who treats me like a queen. My son is at Georgia Tech on a full scholarship. I sleep in a penthouse, wear designer clothes, and I've never been happier. I stepped closer. You wanted to destroy me, but all you did was set me free. So thank you.
Truly.
Thank you for being such a terrible husband that I had no choice but to become an incredible woman. His face crumpled. Not with anger, with defeat. Total, complete defeat. The police took him away. He'd be charged with trespassing, violating the restraining order, and public intoxication. His lawyer called the next day with a plea. Marcus would leave the state, go to his brother's place in Texas, and never contact us again in exchange for us not pressing additional charges. I agreed. Not because I forgave him, but because I was done. Done with his drama, his chaos, his poison in my life. Let him be Texas's problem. That was the last time I ever heard from Marcus Johnson. October 15th, 2022. My wedding day. The Miami Beach house was transformed into something from a fairy tale. White flowers everywhere, string, lights, the ocean as our backdrop. 50 guests, my close family, Alex's business partners and friends, Isaiah's friends from tech, people from my company. Tasha was my maid of honor, crying before the ceremony even started. Look at you, she kept saying. Look at my baby sister.
From my living room floor to this.
I'm so proud of you. When it was time, Isaiah walked me down the makeshift aisle, the sand beneath our feet, the sunset, painting the sky orange and pink. He looked so handsome in his tux, so grown up. You ready, Mom? He whispered. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. Alex stood at the altar in a navy suit, and when he saw me, he started crying. This billionaire, this powerful man, cried at the sight of me in my simple white dress. The ceremony was short but perfect. We wrote our own vows. Alex went first. Maya, you taught me that strength isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up. Every single time. You took ashes and built a phoenix. I promise to spend every day of my life making sure you never doubt your worth, never question your power, and never face a battle alone. I love you, not despite your scars, but because your scars made you who you are. And who you are is the most extraordinary woman I've ever known. I couldn't stop crying. When it was my turn, I could barely speak. Alex, when Marcus left me with nothing, I thought my life was over. But really, it was just beginning. You didn't save me, I saved myself. But you showed me what real love looks like. Patient,
Kind.
supportive. You celebrated my success instead of feeling threatened by it. You lifted me up instead of holding me down.
I
Promised to be your partner in every sense of the word. To build with you, dream with you, fight beside you.
You
Gave me a future I never thought I'd have. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing me. I could never regret you, he whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear. When the officiant said, You may kiss your bride, Alex pulled me close and kissed me like we were the only two people on the planet. Our guests cheered, Isaiah Wolf whistled, and I felt complete. At the reception, Isaiah gave a speech that brought everyone to tears. Most kids have to give speeches about how their parents' love inspired them, he started. But I'm going to talk about something different. My mom's strength. 3 years ago, my biological father stole everything from us.
I
Watched my mom, the strongest person I know, break. Sleep on an air mattress. Cry herself to sleep. I watched her lose everything. He paused, looking at me. But I also watched her get back up. I watched her work 3 jobs. Start a business. Become a boss. And find a man who actually deserves her. Mom, you taught me that betrayal doesn't define you. Your response to it does. You could have stayed broken. You could have stayed bitter. Instead, you became unstoppable. Alex, you're getting an incredible woman. Take care of her, because she's my hero. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. As the night went on, I stood on the beach with Alex, watching our guests dance and celebrate. His arm was around my waist, my head on his shoulder. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "I'm thinking about that morning in October 2019 when I found out Marcus stole the money. I remember thinking my life was over, that I'd never recover." I looked up at him. If I could go back and tell that version of me what her life would look like 3 years later, she'd never believe it. Do you miss him? Ever? I thought about it honestly.
No.
I miss who I thought he was. But that person never existed. The real Marcus did me a favor. He removed himself from my life, so there was room for you. Alex kissed the top of my head. Best favor he ever did for anyone. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear that it gets better. Your support means everything to me. Epilogue. 2 years later, 2024, I'm writing this from our home office in our 6-bedroom mansion in Coral Gables, Florida. Yes, you read that.
Right.
Mansion. Alex and I moved here after the wedding, wanting a fresh start in a new city. My consulting business? We sold it last year for $4.3 million. I'm now a partner in Alex's real estate investment company, specializing in healthcare properties. We just closed a deal on a medical complex worth $50 million. Isaiah graduated from Georgia Tech with honors and works for SpaceX in California. Alex legally adopted him in 2023. His last name is Sterling now, and he calls Alex Dad. We visit him twice a month. As for Marcus, I heard through Tasha that he's working at a gas station in Austin, Texas, living in a studio apartment, alone.
I feel nothing when I think about him.
Not anger, not satisfaction, just nothing.
He's
irrelevant. Sometimes people ask me, do you feel like you got revenge?
No.
This isn't revenge. Revenge would mean I did this to hurt him. I did this to heal me. His suffering is his own
doing.
His choices led him to that gas station. My choices led me here. I built a life so beautiful, so full, so abundant that he became a footnote. A cautionary tale. The man who threw away a diamond because he thought it was glass. My advice to anyone going through what I went through? The betrayal will break you. Let it break completely. Shatter into a million pieces. Because when you put yourself back together, you get to choose which pieces to keep and which to leave behind. I left behind the piece that needed a man's approval. The piece that stayed small to make others comfortable. The piece that accepted crumbs and called it a feast. The woman I built from the ashes? She doesn't ask for permission. She doesn't settle. She doesn't dim her light. For anyone. Marcus stole $85,000 from me. But in doing so, he gave me something priceless. He gave me myself. And that version of me? She's worth millions.
The end.
That's just how life is, full of ups and downs. Here's to us, the strong women who are never defeated. If you like my video and my story, don't forget to give it a like.